Yo, what is up, guys? So today we're going to be talking about another weekly reset here today with World of Warcraft. So today it's going to be a little shorter than usual. We don't have too much going on, but there are a few things we should definitely talk about, and what's going on with the raid, with Mythic Plus, with all of that jazz and how things are going. So today's going to look very similar. Let's play this. To what was, like I said last week, with damage numbers, but this is talking about Mythic rankings now, and it looks kind of the same as last week. We can scroll down here to check it out. The overall damage still looking like Fury Warrior being on the top. Some of the Death Knights up there. Unholy being higher than Frost. Unholy damage on bosses seems to be pretty good still. I'm surprised Enhance is as low as it is, but definitely should be, I think, a little higher. Just based off of what I've been seeing, especially in the race. And surely it is on boss damage. Beast Mastery Hunter with boss damage. Wow. Nerf that class, what? Right, guys? Just kidding. And Fury Warrior, man, getting all the way shafted to the bottom. And again, this is average of Mythic only, and not the other raids. So that could also be different going forward with that. So with this, I want to talk about the race as well. The race has ended for the week. Well, I guess the EU boys are still cooking, but the Silken Court was killed last night, which is the 7th boss of the raid. And here's the clip. You can always check those guys out. Over at Liquid, I saw the kill on a VOD. Did not get to see it late night. It was like 3 a.m. my time, so I was in bed. But then you can check here the average eye level and then what people have. So obviously they all have 4 set, and then the average eye level is a solid 622.6. That's the other thing I wanted to check out. Is if you go over to the Warcraft logs, you can actually see this per boss. If you just click here, raids, and click on the bosses, it'll show you Mythic bosses. And then you can kind of scroll down and see what people's eye levels are. Just kind of scroll down, check all those guys out. And you can see that, no one's really below like, 6'11", 6'10", heck, even like 6'12" eye level. So if you guys are doing Mythic, always try to shoot for the highest eye level that you can get, obviously, because that'll give you the most damage. But you don't want to go in any lower than this, or else you're just not going to make the damage cuts and make the attempts, because you can see people are hitting the 10-minute mark. 9 minutes, pretty much average. A couple people on the 10-minute mark, which is the enrage. So, definitely something to think about while you're gearing your characters. And if you are doing Mythic raid, just be sure that you're up there ready to go. And that's really it for the raid. We'll have the new wing coming out this week, but I'll talk about that here in a second. So let's talk about Mythic Plus. So Mythic Plus has been very interesting. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the easiest dungeons in other people's opinion and my own opinion and what I've experienced. And here's kind of a list of them. Here's the tier list, if you could say. So we have Arkar S tier, Mist S tier. I would agree with these two. Arkar is really only hard if you have people that cannot do the last boss. If you got people that can do the last boss, it's a joke. Literally the easiest one. Mist is also really easy. You could say that the second boss is kind of hard. The first boss is super easy. The second boss, you could say it's hard if people can't dodge the orbs and if people get bad fox spawns. But these are the two that I've timed the most of my 9s. I just kind of ran those back to back because I knew that they were going to be easy, and I even tanked them. I was spec DPS and had, I was spec prot, but I had DPS gear on. Not really perfectly geared for protection warrior, but they do so much damage right now and have so many defensives it doesn't even matter. You could have any gear you want in tank. So I did those two. Dawnbreaker was actually another one that I did. I thought it was pretty easy. The last boss is a little tough. You just have to basically survive. So if you have a healer that can heal you guys, you're good to go. Grimbatol is just long. I think that's the only reason why I would say it's lower on the tier list. There are certainly some bosses that can hit hard, but they don't do anything crazy to where it's going to be too difficult for you guys. Oops, sorry. So yeah, I just think it's because it's long. Stone Vault, things are just hitting so hard. And then the second boss on the right, the twins, those guys, I guess maybe the third boss, however you look at it. Yeah, I guess even the second boss. They can be pretty tough to base off positioning, and if your group can't position well at all, it's just GG. And I'm really talking about pugs. If you have a group, you guys should be able to do all of these probably just fine. And yeah, so not Grimbatol, Stone Vault can be tough because of that reason. The last boss is a little RNG. You kind of have to place your debuffs well and just always have the person who's the tankiest hold their debuff the longest, I would say. It's how I did it. Even the tank, maybe the tank should get rid of it because they take a lot of damage from the boss itself. But when I was playing on my Fury Warrior, I would kind of hold that thing off until the very end, and just look for a portal that would kind of land next to me and drop that guy off. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you'll understand. Siege of Borealis, again, just another crazy ad heavy dungeon. If you just like, the bosses aren't really that bad. There are some mechanics to to dodge and do, obviously, with every dungeon. But Siege of Borealis, it's a little different because you have so many ways to mess up within the ads. Right? There's so many extra things you could accidentally pull. And I know that from experience because I was doing it. And again, I'm kind of agreeing with this whole tier list, by the way. And with these ads, I mean, I was the one tanking, and I didn't happen to mess up because of ads, and that just kind of burnt the key. Again, these are all on 9s or higher. What I'm talking about. City of Threads, I would say this is not as bad as they put it. Actually, this is probably the first one I disagree with. And I only say that because, and I think this might have been pre-nerf because they did nerf some of the last 2 dungeons here. But City of Threads, the last boss, again, the other 2 bosses aren't too bad. The last boss is really tough because of the burst damage that kind of comes out really fast. I think if you have melee DPS and you just melee stack, I know it sucks to say that, you have melee stack plus like whatever your healer is, it's really easy. Or you can just tell everyone to stack, but with melee, it's a little easier to control that. And if you just stack, kind of run in a circle, really similar to Yasma, how Yasma worked back in season 3 of Dragonflight, and also BFA. It's really easy to deal with and helps the healer a ton. And you can get rid of like the roots really quick and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't think it's as bad as it looks. Again, the nerf was huge. It was from, I think, 9 second debuff to a 6-second debuff or something crazy like that. That splice debuff that the last boss puts on you, which is insane because the overlap was terrible because you would get the debuff, and then the big bang would happen. You'd take half your health bar, over half your health bar, and then you'd tick again, and then you would probably tick again if you didn't get healed all the way, and then you would just inevitably die if your healer could not keep up. And then last but not least, Necrotic Wake, it's just that third boss. All the other bosses aren't too bad. You kind of just have to do mechanics. And then the third boss, like if you can't kill it and you can't kill the ad, it's just GG. You're just going to take too much damage. And all the other bosses, Necrotic Wake aren't too bad. So yeah, that's that. What we have this week, moving on. Again, this is a tier list I would agree with, and I would agree with it going on. So if you are pugging and you need to just get keys done, some 7s, some 9s, you don't care about score, definitely look for these 2 guys. And Arakar, everyone's doing for that trinket, and then Mists, not many people are doing. They're kind of just doing it because it's easy. So I would probably flip these 2. But oh, and the last thing about Mythic Plus, sorry, I should probably mention this: why people aren't getting into keys. I mean, I personally saw this myself and was a first-hand witness to what I think is the reason why. But you see all these keys posted, right? And you try to queue up for one. You think you're geared enough, right? You probably are. Okay, so don't get that messed up. People aren't accepting you. They're not accepting you because of your gear. But I queued up a dungeon. I was the only DPS. It was me and I think another DPS actually. And you just we put it in the group finder. It was like a plus 8, I think, plus 7 from Batol. And man, it just flooded. You had every gamer in existence queuing up for that thing. So when you queue up for a dungeon, just know you're being selected out of a pool of like 50 every time. Okay, so that's kind of a big reason why that happens. And then last but not least, let's talk about what's going on this week. So I pulled up the calendar, and it was easy enough just to do this. And you can check just Tuesday and see what's going on. So obviously I mentioned the last wing of LFR that's coming out this week. You'll be able to kill the queen, and you can go for your mount chance, or you can go for some veteran gear. But I think the biggest thing is the mount chance, honestly. So you can get groups that could do this. I think it might be a little tough. The boss is a little hard if you've seen it on normal. If you think about pugging it and nobody knowing what to do, that's when it's hard, right? The boss is tough. I mean, if you know the mechanics, it's not bad. We just killed it on Heroic last night, and it was tough just because people would die and we wouldn't be able to clear it. If you stay alive and do the mechanics, it's pretty easy. So we'll see how that goes on LFR day 1. And we have a lot of PvP stuff going on. Battleground bonus event, and then we have the PvP brawl. So if you're into PvP, it's a nice little week for you. Just more stuff to do. And I'm sure we'll get a dungeon event here soon. I can't see the next week. Maybe it's next week. I guess I could. First of the week, Delves bonus event. So it'll be our first time doing a Delves bonus event. We'll see what that is. And we have some more time walking. And then surely we get the dungeon event soon. Yeah, there it is. So once we get the dungeon event, that'll give us a solid piece of gear for when that happens. And then last but not least, we have Brewfest going on. If you guys are interested in Brewfest, do it. There's a quick queue that you could do. There's some mounts you can get, and also if you're on alts, there's some pieces of gear you can get actually in that little Brewfest barrel. So check that out. I think they're like adventurer pieces, but it's free pieces of gear. So as soon as you hit 70, boom, go do it. Sorry, as soon as you hit 80, go do it. Cool, and that's gonna be it, guys. Enjoy Mythic Plus this week. Enjoy the race. It's probably gonna end this week. Till then, see you.